Hi, I'm Renny Shen from F5 Networks. Welcome to today's whiteboard conversation where we'll show how you can perform your consolidation and migration projects without disrupting users or applications and reduce the amount of time and resources required by up to 90% using intelligent file virtualization. Let's take a look at the example of Company X. Company X recently had to perform a NAS consolidation project of 2 Windows file servers that were end of life. It took them almost 4 months to complete this project. Why did it take so long? Disruption. In traditional file serving environments, users and applications are statically mapped to physical shares on back-end storage. So here we have a share X on Windows A. Our users all know to look for their data through a static map or a network mount, which we'll call Windows A share X. If we were to arbitrarily move share X to the new NAS device, we would break these static mappings and cause downtime. So as a result, every time we move data, we have to go back and reconfigure all of our client systems so that they know to look for the data at the new location. I'll bet that sounds pretty painful, huh? Well, that meant that IT had to go out and negotiate with all of the Company X's business groups on when it could bring down the storage. Now, Company X is a worldwide company that runs its business 24/7. So that means small downtime windows, which means that IT could only perform a portion of the migration every weekend. And at the end of every weekend, they had to reconfigure all of the client systems to look for the data that they had just moved at the new location. And then they had to repeat this process every weekend until they had finished the migration. And that's why it took them 4 months. But this is where file virtualization can really help. Here, we're going to insert a layer of intelligent file virtualization into the network between users and applications and their data. File virtualization decouples the logical access to a file from its physical location. So here, users no longer access share X through a static mapping to a physical share, but rather to a logical mapping presented by the virtualization layer. And the virtualization layer makes sure that any logical access gets directed to the proper location on back-end storage. So this has very profound implications on how we perform migrations. Now, when we move share X, users are no longer affected. The virtualization layer hides this change from our users so that they see all their files in the same place. They have full online access to all of their files, even during the migration, and business continues as usual. But now you have the freedom to perform your migrations whenever you want, wherever you want, instead of on just nights and weekends. And you no longer have to reconfigure all of your client systems to look for their data at the new location either. This means that migrations now require less planning time, fewer IT resources, and carry a lot less risk. Finally, you can create a policy to automatically perform your migration for you instead of having to manually move your files yourself. This means that consolidations and migrations are now as simple as creating and scheduling a policy, pushing the green button, and checking back when it's done. So using intelligent file virtualization, Company X was able to perform their next consolidation project in just 2 weeks instead of 4 months. That's a lot of time, a lot of resources, and a lot of money we just saved. That's it for now. Thanks for joining us, and be sure to check out our other whiteboard conversations from F5 Networks.